Hey guys, it's Jackie from Jackie's List on Book Haul. So my parents went to Hawaii back in March, and they got me this little each of us cousins because there are six of us. I think. Well, yeah, there are six of us, and there's five girls. So my mom got all the girls. I don't know if she got my sister one, but got all the girls these cute little flowers to put in our hair. So I finally decided to put it in my hair for this video, just for fun. I thought I would do a top five. I mean, not top five. I'll do that. I'll film that later. But I thought I would do a book tag. And this is the How I Read book tag. I will post the link to the original creator of the tag in the Dropbox below. So you can, if you guys are interested in doing the tag, you can check out the original video. Or if you're just interested in watching the tag. Okay, so the first question is, how do you find out about a new book to read? Well, before I became part of the BookTube community, I would just, I didn't really, there was always certain authors I would read all the time. Like, I was one of the people who was fans of Twilight, and I read the Harry Potter books, and then, it would depend on whatever fantasy I came across, but I didn't really know a lot about the new books, unless it was something, my mom and sister had found out about it. Like, there was an advertisement in the newspaper or something. But now, ever since Facebook and BookTube and ever since I discovered BookTube, now that's how I usually find out about new books, is BookTube. And even then, I don't always get to the new books right away unless it's an author that I've already been reading, like Sarah J. Maas, for instance. So in the end of it, it's like BookTube is how I usually find out about the new books. And then I'm on Goodreads, so I'll probably find out there. Okay, so question number 2 is, how did you get into reading? Well, this is going to be a boring answer, but I think this is the answer for practically everybody, and that's my parents read to me. Because they knew that, and even today they talk about it, how kids, that's how, it's good to start early by reading to your kids. And I think it also helps you become a more intelligent person if you read a lot. My mom at where I work, in the bar area, I work at a Harris Teeter grocery store, and you can not only get dinner there, they have a hot bar and stuff, but you also have the bar there. So not only can you buy alcohol, buy alcoholic beverages like wine and stuff, but you can also, if you get dragged to the grocery store and you are legal of age, then you can actually, you can sit at the bar and order and get a drink. So for fun, every Tuesday night they do a trivia night, and my dad and I got into that and started going regularly. And actually, this trivia night I will be working that evening so. By the time I get off, trivia night will already have started, so I'll just get dinner there and meet my dad at the bar area. But my mom, anyway, I'm telling you about that because my mom had said that, part of why they want me to come with them is not just to have fun, spend time together, but also because I think because I read a lot, so it helps. I know at least a little bit of stuff. Of course, I tell my mom, that I'm not smart. I feel like they make me think make it seem like I'm super smart or something, and I'm not. I only know certain topics, like literature, for instance, and stuff, and of course pop culture. But so yeah, I feel like reading is a good thing, and my sister makes sure that she reads to her boys. She bought a whole bunch, we all buy them a bunch of books, and my sister reads to the older one, Harrison, all the time, and actually it's gotten to the point where he can read it himself. He might not understand the book, but kids' books, they're not that complicated, so to understand, But anyway, so yeah, reading. My parents read to me every night, and that's what my sister's doing with her boys. She's reading to them and getting them into books and appreciating books. So question number 3. Question number 3 is, how has your taste in books changed since you've gotten older? So for the longest time, I was one of those girls that loved vampire fiction. I didn't read True Blood right away. I mean, I did read the Stooky Stackhouse series. I did read the first 3 or 4 books, but then I was starting to move on from the whole vampire storyline at the time, so I didn't continue the series. But I did watch the True Blood, the TV series still. But I moved, and I read Twilight. I was a Twilight fan. It was actually the one of the few series that my mom and I both enjoy. My mom liked. I mean, she doesn't read it, like, seriously or anything. She's more prone to probably watch the movies than read the books, but she liked it, and she read, I think starting with the second book. I don't think she read the first book. Or she did read it, but she read it later. So I was one of those people I loved the Moral Instruments. I still like that series, the Cassandra Clare's books, her Shadowhunter world, and I read, the first series I fell in love with was Harry Potter, so I read, like, paranormal and young adult, and I still read young adult today, but as I've gotten older, my tastes have matured, and I want to read the real fantasy stuff. I mean, not that paranormal isn't real fantasy, but the fantasy that actually takes place in a fantasy world. So I discovered Sarah J. Maas, and then I'm beginning to like historical fiction more and more as I get older. And I want to get into literary fiction more. And I'm even beginning to read nonfiction, like, as long as it's a memoir, like biographies and, nonfiction that's like just like explaining something. It's harder for me to get into. Like, my brother-in-law actually let me have his borrow, I should say. He didn't give it to me, but let me borrow his copy of John Adams' biography by David McCullough. And I started it, but then it's like all of a sudden I start to lose kind of interest in it. Although I still want to read it, I still want to continue it. But I get more into the nonfiction that are actually memoirs. So yeah, my taste, I feel like they've matured a little bit, and I still read YA, but I've definitely wanted to expand my reading horizons, especially since I've joined BookTube. And even that I've read at least a few contemporaries, and I've been a little more open, even though this is younger, I am a little more open to middle grade. But, and I've read a few contemporaries, but I just have decided that if I'm gonna read, like, something that takes place in the modern world, in the 21st century, it's gonna be an adult book, not a book about teenagers. Like, I can still get into books about teenagers if they're fantasy, but not if they're contemporary. I mean, the ones I've read so far are okay, and I don't hate them or anything. Like, what is that one called? The Upside of Unrequited. That was cute. It wasn't, like, the best book ever, as some people say it is, but in my opinion, it's okay, it's cute, but it's not my favorite. And then I also I've realized that I don't like romance. I mean, I like romance in the story, but I don't like the romance genre. It feels a little repetitive to me, and I don't care to read, and after a while, as much as I am a romantic, and I like putting romance in my stories, I don't want to dominate the whole plot. And I partly blame, like, Nicholas Sparks in Twilight for that. Because Nicholas Sparks writes romance, and his books kind of got a little, they kind of followed the same pattern. They always took place in North Carolina. They always just have the same similarity. And I don't like reading books that are authors that write the same type of books. I mean, I used to, but now I don't anymore. Like, I don't like continuous series. that don't end. Like the Women's Murder Club is a lot of books. Of course, I also have issues with James Patterson anyway, so yeah, so it's changed a bit, which is natural. Everybody's reading taste will change. I mean, not everybody. Well, I shouldn't say everybody's, but a lot of people, their reading taste does change. I mean, I know some people that I don't know if I would say their reading taste has changed, or well, the person I'm thinking of, her reading taste has changed a little bit, because she, like me, has fallen out of the whole vampire fandom. So, okay, so that was question number 3. Question number 4, how often do you buy books? I probably buy books way too much. But the good news is that I can't drive, so it's not like I can drive to the bookstore on a regular basis. And I do try to exercise some self-control, because I do feel guilty, a little guilty sometimes when I binge. Like, I recently bought 4 books, and then I bought 4 more books the next day. But the reason why I did that, though, is, this is true, that the bookstore that I go to regularly now, these bookstores that's in walking distance, is an used bookstore. So the most expensive book is like $5. $5 or $6. I think some of the books go up to $6. So it's like, it's very, it's really cheap. And of course, this used bookstore doesn't have a lot of YA and a lot of the huge sci-fi books. It has a lot of literary fiction and mysteries. Like, they love mysteries here where I live, I guess. And they have, a lot, and they have a romance section. So it's kind of hard for me. In the Books A Million, which has a better selection, more variety at least, is in driving distance. So I kind of have to ask my parents to take me there. So so I have a chance to exercise some self-control, and I'm also trying to prioritize my own personal collection of books. But sometimes when you're there, it's a problem. Okay, so question number 5 is, how did you get into booktubing? Well, like most people, it started with watching other booktubers. Like, I love watching Sanford Thoughts on Tomes, Jessie the Reader, Reagan from Peru's Project, Sasha Alsberg, whose booktube name escapes me at the moment. And there were a handful of booktubers I just watched regularly. Katie Tastic, Christine from Poland and Bananas. I think that's how you say her booktube name. And I watched a lot of them, and I would find myself doing some of the tags that they would do. I have book related groups on Facebook that I run, and I would find myself posting the questions from tags on that book group. And then I would also sometimes think about how would I answer this question? Even if I wasn't actually putting it on my Facebook group, I would sometimes just answer for fun and think about what would my answer be. And then finally, I just decided to make sure it was cool with my parents that I did this, and started a booktube account. And that was right before we moved. And I think I stumbled upon booktube is because I was looking for reviews on books or something, or it might have been because I was trying to look for different ways for designing my bookshelf, because it was around the time we were getting ready to move, so I wanted to do something different with my bookshelf. So I think room design, room tours and bookshelf tours, I think that's what started, or it might have been the reviews, watching someone review on a book that was interesting. I don't remember. It has been quite a while. But yeah, it was like most people, it was from watching other booktubers. Okay, so how do you react when you don't like the ending of a book? I wrote down an answer in my notes, and like that answer was that I might be disappointed, but I'm not gonna get all upset. But I don't honestly know, because I've never been on. I've never been. Well, now with the Grisha trilogy, I was a little like. Well, no, because unlike everybody else, I was not mad that she gave up her powers. So no, that's not a good example. Although I did feel that ending did feel a little like I was a little conflicted because I was starting to see what everybody was talking about Mao's character and how he was a little, not that being a bit of a douchebag to Alina and everything and being really hard on her about her being a Grisha and everything. But then I also like that whole trope of best friends falling in love kind of thing. But anyway, I'm trying to think if there's ever been a book where I didn't like the ending. I can't think of it, so I honestly don't know. I mean, like I said, I have an answer, as I just told you guys, but I don't know if even that's true. I might have, granted, like with TV shows, that could be a whole other story, but sometimes, well, even with TV shows, that kind of does, it kind of is that I'm like, I get over it kind of attitude. But it has taken me a little while to get over Once Upon a Time and how that has turned out. Of course, won't be ending until this May. But some of the things that they do on that show, I was not happy about. But since then, I moved on. So, but of course, we're not talking about TV shows. We're talking about books here. So I honestly don't know. Like I said, I like to think that I would be disappointed, but I wouldn't get upset. But I don't know if there's ever been a book where I didn't like. Well, I guess maybe both The Circle and 1984. Part of me was hoping for a happy ending, even if I knew that wasn't realistic. But, I think that's why I was like, okay, yeah, I kind of wanted it to be a happy fairy tale ending, but you know what? I knew it wouldn't happen. I shouldn't know. Of course it's not going to happen, because those are both dystopians. Well, The Circle, I feel like, is more of a beginning of a dystopian, not an actual dystopian. So I guess that's the closest example to that, to answering this question, that both those books, I wanted the fairy tale cheesy ending, but it wasn't. But at the end of the day, I knew that wasn't going to happen. Okay, so that was question number 6. Okay, we're on the last question. Well, okay, not technically the last question, because, I don't do this, but the last questions on these tags are usually tags and people, but I don't do that. Just since how often do you take a sneak, question number 7. How often do you take a sneak peek to see if it's a happy ending? Okay, I confess, I do cheat when I read a book. Sometimes I will start a book and get into it, and then I get restless and decide to look at the last page and read the last sentence. Especially for my favorite couples. I don't do so much anymore, but it's like I spoil myself and prepare myself if it's not going to be a happy ending. And I spoil myself for TV shows too. In fact, I roll my eyes when people are like, I'm not going to tell you more because I don't want to spoil it for you. And I know that's blasphemous. Why would I want to be spoiled? It would ruin it for me. But I do read the last page and the last couple sentences. Sometimes it's not, I don't entirely know just by reading the last few sentences what's going on and stuff. And so yeah, I do kind of take a sneak peek. I have a problem. I cheat and spoil myself. Okay, so anyway, like I said, the last question I think was to tag some people, and I don't like doing that because I don't have any, I feel like I haven't really gotten to know enough booktubers yet to feel like. So that was the how I read book tag. So if you guys are interested in doing this tag, if you are interested in it, go for it. I tag you. And again, I will post the link to the original creator so that if you are interested in doing it, and you want to hear the questions again from them. So if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and click subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. Bye.